Further our discussions in simplify the BIM process, I just want to make these clarifications to all our members at BIM Africa Initiative. These processes we're explaining is very important for us to understand that every AAC professional and our students in the various institutions in African countries must be carried along and deploying this process, which we've decided that in 2024, we're going to further the cause of encouraging students as well as young graduates from universities to experience the BIM process as a teamwork and as a case study on a real project scenarios conditions. And at this point, I want to appreciate the support of Autodex, which have given us the opportunity to have access to licensed software as members of Autodex Learning Partners under Knowledge Point. And at this point, I want to encourage us that whatever we are seeing from this process are not things that you can do with unlicensed version of the software. This is why I have to thank Autodex, who has given us a lot of opportunities for us to have collections of BIM tools and softwares that it can integrate collectively on a platforms to deploy the process to enhance our proficiency and utilizing of these tools to real case scenarios. Whether firms have the ACE collection package being purchased, but for those who are in the learning phase, especially those in the tertiary institutions that want to follow this process and understand the rudiments, then we have to seek further support and collaborations with Knowledge Point, as BIM Africa is one of the Autodex learning academic partners that need to support all our student institutions in the AEC sector and for those who are studying AEC related courses to see how we can assist them to deploy this process and learn the procedures so that when they come out of schools, it's very easy for them to work with firms that have licenses to render services which will be valuable for them. So at this stage, I still want to emphasize that this process is very important. When we are coordinating civil sites with Revit, it's very important to understand that site coordinations is a key and fundamental aspect that we must establish. And to establish that, because of the extent of site situation like this extent, has to be established in Revit. While other feature has to be linked inside Revit. At this level, we've gone beyond importing CAD file, even if we have to use it as instances because the vector data is very relevant for us to get it accurately right. Vector data are more accurate. Vector data such as points, lines, and polygon give us accurate informations than the raster data. So we have to integrate that sequence in our Revit. So it means that we must have a site in Revit. Irrespective of other Revit file you are working on, they can always be linked to the site, which will reduce the data synchronizations within the workstation or within the cloud services. And I want to mention at this time that for those who have access to BIM Collaborate Pro, it's a very good software which gives us the opportunity to work in real times when we use Revit, Civil 3D, and AutoCAD Plan 3D. You can do your design collaboration from anywhere in the world in real time from the team on the project. It gives you the opportunity for you to do design collaborations, model collaborations in real time, and to plan all your project discussions with the BIM Collaborate Pro in Autodesk Construction Cloud. And for those that does not have Autodesk Doc to collaborate in if to collaborate with their team, if you don't have access to the AutoStage Construction Cloud, I think you can also relate as individuals to this basic fundamental that we're trying to explain to us. And we hope when we get into next year and see the capability and the extent of what support we have to give to institutions, we pray and we hope and pray that Autodex and Knowledge Point, our partners, will able to give us enormous support to encourage the less privileged, especially those in the tertiary institutions and the young graduates that want to learn the art of using BIM process to real case scenarios. So, as I mentioned, at the same time, it's very important that when we work in Revit, the essence of importing CAD file is only meant to show the topo solid, which has been updated in 2024 version of Revit. Otherwise, we can always link a CAD file or a Revit file to our project site in Revit. So let me just quickly explain what I'm saying here in Revit so that before we move to the next stage, this is planning 1.3 series. This is a default Revit interface in explaining how we can always link our file into Revit. Under this Insert tab, it's very important to note that we can always link a Revit file. You can always link an IFC file as well as link a CAD file. And if you are working with Autodesk Doc, you can easily link a topography file from Civil 3D into Revit. So mostly now in this present era, we use the link procedure much more than import. Because please, can they bear with us with our limitation now? As I said, we have a promising 2024 whereby we will try to engage our members in BIM Africa initiative as much as possible to explain the various workflow, even if we are waiting for further support from Knowledge Point and Autodesk to still tend to carry us along through the process and procedures. In 2024, we want to ensure proper documentation of site situation scenarios because I want to assure you that we are going to have a team in Abuja to start the BIM in action strategy process so that we can encourage other teams in other cities in African countries to do same. So we will lead the first setter to deploy that and we document the process with videos showing how it works. That we might need more instructors and educators in the year 2024. And I want to assure us that we will do whatever necessary to see how we can provide voluntary services in order to influence the development of AEC infrastructures in our various society.